Hey guys, so making a video on my new MacBook, so I think my little built-in thing is gonna work. Um, how's it going? I am home at my parents' house, my mom's house again, and in between travel adventures, which is very exciting and also can have the potential to be a little bit ungrounding. I think what I wanted to chat about was this idea of grounding and how important it is as a nomad and even as not a nomad having a grounding practice in your life. It's very essential to keeping us connected to our truth, to our power, to a greater vision, and just to keep us from kind of losing our minds in a state of scattered franticness. And if I'm not talking to you, if you never feel that, then that's totally fine, and I'm very in admiration of you. For those of us who do tend to be on the floatier side, having a grounding practice in the midst of a chaotic life is so important. And I'm not saying a chaotic life in bad terms. In fact, for me personally, I wouldn't have my life be any other way. I do travel a lot. As many of you guys know, I've been living abroad and remotely for about 9 years. It's so crazy, like 8.5 now. And have been involved with many different projects which have been taking place all over the world. And I'm actually heading to Mexico to be working with a company that I work with and involved in creating co-living and co-working experiences. And I'm just so excited as well to bring yoga and coaching and leadership work down there and potentially to Guatemala and then back to the US this summer. But in the midst of all of that, I'm not gonna lie to you, sometimes I start to think, oh my god, I just need to settle down. I just want to wake up and have a desk to work at, to create my inspired projects. And I've actually even asked myself, why do I not feel creative? And this is one thing I wanted to talk about, is how grounding can really cultivate creativity, and how structure and having a container for our energy really gives us the space to tap into higher levels of bringing things through us into the world, right? So what does that actually look like? Like on a day-to-day basis, I really like to, I'm gonna say, these are the things I need to be saying to myself, need to be actually doing. Creating, like basically scheduling time to be creative. If you're working on, if you want to write a book, if you have some sort of creative project inside you, it's great to wait for inspiration to strike and just do that, whatever. But what's even better is if you schedule in time to do that. It's like scheduling time to be inspired, which might not sound super romantic or super whatever, not romantic, but do you know what I mean? Like it doesn't sound so like, oh, you just imagine sitting down and you feel this inspiration flow through you. But actually that, oh no, sorry. Pop-up windows, what's happening? Actually, we need to schedule time to be inspired. Creativity requires commitment and it requires structure. So if you imagine having this 2-hour window in which you're going to write every day, doesn't that feel a bit more doable? Or even just 1 hour? Doesn't that feel more doable than waking up and saying, okay, I have all these different things I need to do for my job and my work and this and that, and then like I'm going to try to fit in my writing somewhere, but I'm sure it's going to happen because I have all day. Like it's not going to happen, or it might not happen. And then you beat yourself up for it because you told yourself it would happen. So creating structure for your freedom and creativity is so important, and grounding and having a space to work. Like one thing I do is no matter where I am, even though I'm pretty nomadic, I never try to work in bed. Like I try, if I'm in a space that doesn't have a desk, I actually will work outside of the house. Like I go to cafes, I go somewhere with a table and a proper place to work, because if I'm mixing up my work with where I sleep and relax, then it's very ungrounding. So having routines and rituals and spaces that are very designated for different things are ways to stay grounded when you're traveling. And then also just like practicing deep grounding breaths and really rooting yourself into the earth. Like sometimes when I wake up in the morning, before I even practice yoga, I'll just lay on the ground with my hands on my heart, like pressing down, just taking deep breaths and really like rooting in, and kind of this mix between yoga and meditation, or shavasana and meditation. And also just like standing and being in a power pose and taking deep breaths, and just, this is a very grounding position, right? We can ground our power. It's gonna be very easy as a floaty type. Like if you resonate at all with being of a more floaty, flowy energy, it's very fun, we're very free, and we always invite a lot of movement, and people love that about us. And we might love that about ourselves, which I know I definitely do, but the downside is that we can lose track of ourselves and we can feel anxiety, we can feel scattered and lost and frustrated because we don't feel like we're on track with our course. So in conclusion, grounding is good. Okay, that's all. Bye.